Well, hello. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm sitting in my car right now, just kind of waiting on my daughter to be done with dance, and I thought it would be a good time to share some thoughts that I've had over the last couple of days, specifically surrounding grief triggers. I guess really triggers of any kind, but let's just kind of keep it in the grief trigger realm. So, over this past weekend, this same daughter, Callie, my daughter, Callie, she was in her school's production of Anastasia, the musical, like the junior version. So the Romanovs do die in it, but it doesn't really get into all the stuff with them actually being gunned down and all that. It doesn't really get into that history. Musical weekends, we've got some experience with them, just because my kids have been doing them for years, since elementary school, it seems like at this point. And they were always kind of a special weekend for our family. Just a weekend where we would get together, we would go to the show, and then we would get to, celebrate the kids and, take pictures with them after and all of that. And this was the first year, one of many of the first that I'm going to have this year, of me doing it alone. And it's tough just because, we would split up the performances. Usually Anna would go to more than I did, admittedly. But that's what she wanted to do. It was her choice. So, it wasn't something that I was forcing her to do or anything. That's what she liked to do. But this year it was just me, so I went to all three performances, and it's tough sitting there by myself. I mean, I had family that came to the shows. Pretty much every single show there was a family member represented there. So that's not to say that they weren't there, but you know what I mean. It's being there without her and just realizing how proud that she would be of Callie and just everything she did in the musical. She played one of the minor roles, but she played multiple roles. So there was so many costume changes. She did have a little solo moment. Her dancing was just amazing. So she would have been so proud of her. And, I get to the end of the weekend, and it's just, by the time I got to Sunday, I was completely peopled out and just worn out and sad. And, and then in between that, in between everything, I took my oldest, Cooper, to the college that he's going to be attending for his audition for the music department there. And again, just being on the campus where Anna and I spent so much time together was bittersweet. Again, doing something so momentous without her, just, grief triggers left and right this past weekend. And even something as silly as at one point I stopped and I ordered a vanilla sweet cream cold brew from Tim Hortons, which, if you're not familiar with Tim Hortons, because maybe you're on, in a different part of the country, it's a Canadian coffee chain. It's fairly well known, but it's a Canadian coffee chain that's very popular, specifically New York, East Coast kind of thing. And that particular drink, I realized that was the first time that I drank it since last May, because that was the drink that I had pretty much to help me stay awake all of the time that we were waiting in the hospital to find out what was going to happen with Anna. And that it was the same time frame where they told us that she wasn't coming back. So even little things like that can serve as a trigger. It seems weird, it seems mundane, but that is where stuff like that can hit. And I've mentioned this before, in other videos, where it's the mundane things, just the day-to-day living that can lead to having that grief trigger hit. And I talked in that cleaning video, which if you didn't watch it, I'll put a link somewhere for you to go check that out. It's basically just me cleaning my kitchen and talking about grief. And my grief box, or my box with my grief in it and the trigger that's in it. Like I said before, it's a little bigger than it was before, but man, it seems like I was hanging out right around that corner with the trigger in it this whole past weekend. It's just kind of where I was living, and I think that's normal. I think that you have times where you're going along and you're hanging around, it's like those things where, if you're an Office fan, you'll remember the episode where they're all watching in the conference room the DVD thing bounce around the screen, trying to see if it'll hit the corner. So it's like that, and most of the time it's bouncing around and it's not hitting that trigger that's in the corner for this example. But then there's just some times where for some reason it just keeps bang, bang, bang. I think it's normal. I think it's all part of the process, and it sucks that it has to be part of that process. It sucks that it has to happen in order for those scars to form, for you to be able to be stronger and keep moving on. What I want to say to you today, if you're going through something similar with having lost someone important to you, or having lost a job, or anything like that has resulted in that massive life change that has taken your life in a completely different direction than it was before, or if you are helping somebody through something like that, walking along somebody, walking beside them as they traverse this path, give space for triggers to happen. It is March 10th as I'm recording this. In 6 days it will be 10 months since Anna passed. In 2 days it'll be 10 months since the pulmonary embolism. So it's still happening, even at this point. So give grace in those moments. Give it to yourself. Give it to the people in your life that are walking this path, because you just never know when it's going to pop up. My mom asked me today about something having to do with Mother's Day this year. And my honest answer to her was, I can't even think about May yet. Because May is going to be one big trigger. And I'm sure I'll have a lot of thoughts during that month, just about different things. So, again, give grace to yourself, which is what I'm trying to do for myself. Give grace to others. Feel what you need to feel in those moments. Don't try to push it down. Don't try to numb it. Try to find a way to work through everything that you're feeling when something like this triggers you. And again, it can be the most mundane thing in the world. You could find, a square of paper that they wrote something on, and that sets you off, just seeing their handwriting. You could go to, a coffee shop that you both used to frequent, which there is a local coffee shop that we used to frequent, and I haven't been back there since. But, again, it's the simplest things that can trigger your grief, and that's okay. Please know that is okay. Don't beat yourself up for not being further along than you think you need to be. Just allow yourself to be in that moment. Feel everything you need to feel, and you'll be better for it. So that's all I have to say today. And please reach out. Please leave a comment down below. You can DM me or ask me to reach out to you, whatever. I'm happy to talk with anybody who may be earlier on in their journey or just needs somebody to sound off of. We can't do this alone. Suffering alone is never a great plan. So, glad that you decided to stick around for this, and check out the other videos if you haven't already. Subscribe, please. Like, share, comment, do all the YouTube-y things. I've gotten some reports of, people sharing my videos with others, and I'm over the moon grateful for that. I am so happy that this can serve to help people, because otherwise, what's the point of me doing this? So, do all the things, press all the buttons down there, and I'm gonna have to stop talking because there's people starting to pull into spots by me, and I'm gonna start to look nuts. So, I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.